Hello, hello. Oh, oh. I had my audio coming through my OBS. That was disorienting for a moment. Uh, Hello everyone. It's lovely to be back. Another week of not being able to stream. I might try and do one later this week on that old laptop I was talking about, but I think I can only do it. It's not going to be good quality at all. But I think I have everything set up on it, so it might work. But hello, Torn Kite. Welcome in. Welcome in. I hope you're doing well. Um, I sometimes just drop into your streams and watch you do like battle stuff, so it's pretty cool. Uh, that what's that one called? The one with the cute animals. I can't remember. It's a very cool game. But I'm a little bit down today. I am a little bit down. Ireland unfortunately lost the quarter-final curse, or the quarter-final of the Rugby World Cup. The curse kicked in again, although both teams played their hearts out. Ireland, there was two try chances very close together that they, if it had just been slightly, like inches to get closer, and New Zealand managed to hold it up over the line, and then I think it was like 37 phases or something at the end. Oh, the pain, the pain. It was such a good match, though. Oh my god, my heart was absolutely thumping out of my chest. Super Auto Pets. Okay. I never played it. I might give it a go sometime because I enjoyed Hearthstone Battlegrounds the few times that I did play it. Although I wasn't very good. I didn't play it enough to get good at it, I think. Welcome in, Clever. Welcome in. I hope you're doing well. I enjoyed that video actually that you sent on to me about genetics. I kind of knew that already, in the sense of like I knew that Mendel wasn't Mendel, isn't, yeah, that's it, isn't it? The like that was a specific, kind of unnatural situation, or kind of a perfect thing. Hello, Professor. How you doing? Welcome in, Sunny Day Enjoyer. Welcome in. Uh, I didn't. I only knew about it because I had watched a few videos, kind of similar to that, but it was later. But I didn't know the full story, like background to it, and the kind of models that guy set up for the little ping ball thing was very, very helpful in understanding the idea of that kind of tent that tugged, and the trait would kind of roll down and could be, moved in different directions. Obviously, that's a theoretical way of viewing it. But it was a very cool video that Clever sent on to me. It was all about genetics and why the way kids or teenagers are kind of taught the whole peas thing with the, that you have a gene for blue eyes and a gene for red hair, and you have your Punnett square and stuff. That's not exactly it. There's so much more that goes into it, so many more genes. Although at the same time, I think, the fact that it is multiple genes interacting does not take away from the fact that we are very in line with our genes. But obviously, it's not like, to completely ignore the environment and other things, hormones, is obviously very wrong. It's not, you're not 100% determined by your genes, every single thing. It is, everything else does play a part, and how couldn't it? But I think, just because there isn't one particular gene for one particular thing doesn't suddenly mean that like any determination from genes isn't like, it's not like, oh, it's only like 20%. No, it's probably still pretty important. It just so happens that when we look at me and my family were looking at a photo of I think it was like my great grandfather, or it might have been three greats. Yeah, I think it might have been my great grandfather. And like a whole bunch of the family, and my grandmother was pointing out who was who and stuff, and we could see people in that photo that looked like us. We could see it, and obviously that's a very close, that's only going back a couple of things, but it was very cool to see that you could see the way things kind of stuck around. But I hope your days are going well, all of you. Torn Kite, Clever, Sunny Day Enjoyer. Sunny days are pretty good. It's still sunny, although it is raining a little bit. But it's definitely starting to get a lot colder here in Ireland. I'm starting to wear long sleeved tops and stuff, and I even closed my window. And usually I'm someone who leaves my window open all the time. Actually, let me double check real quick. Okay, yeah, I opened the window because with my PC on, it's going to get warm. But yeah, I usually I'd be very bad for leaving my window open during like winter and stuff, and then I'd be like wrapped up in my blanket, being like, "Oh my god, it's so cold." But then I'm too lazy to get up and close the window from my bed. I think it helps me develop like a strong immune system, though. My body has to work overtime, and it's like, all right, you know what, fair enough. I'm reading up on genetics myself. It's interesting. Nice. You might like this video. So it shows. I can't remember what it is, but like it's a really nice what's it called again? Let me quickly check. It's you've been lied to about genetics, which I think is like it's a bit of a clickbaity title, of course. But that's expected. That's just how YouTube or Twitch, YouTube, yeah, YouTube works. Because I think you do go into that, but it at the very basics, I think we could definitely do better in explaining that like the P situation is a very particular, almost an experiment, and that wasn't even his aim to explain like genetic differences. Biology and materiality is starting to become more relevant in humanities after a period dominated by culture and virtuality. You ought to have baity titles these days. I'll check it out. Do definitely. Even just the way the guy built a little it was like that game Plinko, I think it was called. The one where the thing bounces around the pins and then lands in a certain score. He makes it out like that, and it's a very very good way to show it. Biology and materiality is starting to become more relevant in the humanities after a period of dominated by culture and virtuality. What can I ask what you mean by virtuality there? Because I can understand the other parts, but I'm a little. Oh, I guess maybe you just mean like biology and then material side of things, and then virtual is more abstract maybe. But I've actually, it doesn't necessarily tie in, but I've been reading a really great introduction to the philosophy of mind by a man by the name of Edward Fesser, and I've been really enjoying it. Really enjoying it. Got the Total War game. I'm not that good at it, but still having fun. That's nice, clever. Is that's a new one? That's like Egypt or something, isn't it? Like Pharaoh. I played a few Total War games. I really enjoy Attila, mainly because I don't know. I didn't grow up playing Total War, so that was the only one I really played, and I just enjoy the look of it. Although I do prefer like the DLCs tied to it. I want to try Warhammer. I'm not very good at the games either, but I don't know. I just do stuff and I tend to win. I did a really fun Ascom game where it was a battle against the Sassanids. I won in the end. It was actually a pretty long campaign too. It was pretty cool. But I think what I'm going to do today is I'm going to read about a chapter of this book. Yeah, basically, virtuality is abstractiveness, disembodiment, etc. Some claiming that everything is or can become purely information or culture. There's a bit of pushback against that now. Interesting. I'll have to, if you have anything to like that you could send on that would look into that deeper, I'd be definitely down to take a look at it. If there's any articles or videos or stuff you want to send me on. But what I'm thinking of doing is doing maybe just a chapter of reading. The chapter that we're on is relatively short. Now, depending on how quickly I'll get through it, I might do 2 chapters. But I'm not so sure on that. Let me just check. And then what I might do is just do like a little. I'll maybe do a stream or video. Ooh, that sounds really good. Really good. I really enjoy it. I might not catch it because I'm working these days. It's so painful, and it's training stuff as well. So I'm like, I'm, always doing stuff. I can't do my work and put on my headphones and listen to you guys. It's painful. I wanna be around my Twitch friends, my Tuba friends. But stuff. It's so annoying as well because all the people that I was watching for a long time, well, for a couple of months now, it's been yeah, wagey cagey. It sucks. Like I don't mind. Because I know after a while I'm going to be just like, here's work to do. I can do it, and then I can put on my headphones. I can listen to you guys. I can maybe chat a little bit. That'll be fine. But it's just because and it doesn't help either that alongside the wage cage, I'm also studying like mad. Well, not mad, but I'm trying to do at least an hour, usually 2 hours every day, and then I also have lectures and stuff to do on top of it. So full time work, study, trying to keep up with my exercise, trying to keep up with singing lessons and other things. It is very tough. It's very. Excuse me a moment. Be sure not to burn out. Thank you, Tornkite. I'll be okay. It's going to be. I won't lie. I picked a really bad time to start streaming. Unfortunately, if only I had considered doing this stuff a little earlier, maybe I could have hopped on the bandwagon. Who knows? Maybe I could have been mysterious if I had started so early, or so long ago, I should say. But no. At the same time as well, I think whenever I think about those things, how things could have been, how I might have been, all the different things. Other than like, I could have been taller. I could have been taller. I could be like 6'7" and massive, an elite athlete. But that's that's a rare thing for everyone. But it's more like when I think back to all the situations that I've been through, and it's like, would I want to change the person that I am? And I usually come back thinking, no, not really. I'm quite happy with who I am. So for all the stuff that's happening, I take it in stride, and I'm like, look, this is the route I've chosen. I'm happy with how things are going. We'll get through it, and we keep moving, we keep going, we keep trying our best. But yeah, thank you, Tornkite, for the support. I should be okay. I'm pretty good at stuff, and I think because I've started so early, and I'll get such a long break period to study for the actual exams themselves, and the exams are 50% pass rate, or not pass rate, but like pass marks. They're professional exams though, so they're 4 hours each. They're so long, and then I have an assessment soon. But the assessment is actually, touch wood, touch my desk, looks fairly easy. It's just you have to be quick. So I think I'll be okay. But I will probably disappear for a little bit, or maybe streaming and working out can be during my like intense study period, can be my relaxation. I'll pretty much just like when I'm on my study leave, I will just treat it like a job, and I'll do like 9 to 5 study, But that's not for another while. Getting away from depressing work topics, I think it's time we begin the book reading for today. And I'm thinking afterwards I'll do a little bit of ASMR, so I'll quiet everything down, and I'll do a little bit of whispering, a little bit of tapping, a little bit of touching the mic, scratching and stuff. I've found ever since I stopped biting my nails a couple months ago and I started taking care of them, that I've swapped out my biting habit and for like tactile tapping and scratching habit. I'm always scratching things and I'm always tapping on things. I don't know if that's a sign of like something in me that I should get like diagnosed, but I think it's not. I think it's okay. I think I just like the sensation and the sound. But anyway, let's get started with the book. It's already been 20 minutes. So we're going back to Regine Pernod, Those Terrible Middle Ages, Debunking the Myth. the myths, and this chapter is going to be an interesting one, no doubt, for it is titled Women Without Souls. Thinking of if I should ask anything for my birthday. I think you should, Clever. If you should ask for anything, like ask friends or family for something. Red. That's a good one to ask for. I entirely agree. Actually, you know what? No, because then you're taking the one redhead from myself, or from me, that could potentially be mine. They're my favorite. So good taste, incredible taste, Clever. My mom is one. Oh, really now? Hey, Clever. You know. This is the real reason I started streaming, to hook up my viewers, moms and sisters. I'm gonna make a big VTuber family where I'm the connecting member of all the other families. Anyway, let's get into the book. Take mine too. What? Yo? Torn kite. But it fell out and regrew blonde. That's wacky. My sister. Well, if she's anything like you, Tornkite, and she's into like books and interesting stuff, that would be cool. Ooh, I often think red beards can look very cool. I think they can really, really look nice. And of course, I may be red-headed when I become in color, when I go from being excuse me, when I go from being grayscale. Mix of brown and red though, and just brown on my head. I think that sounds like a pretty cool combo. Okay, so let's move on from me trying to create some kind of viewer familial harem. Or harem, I should say, sorry. Who knows? Who knows, Clever? You'll have to look into the genetics of that. Chapter 6, Women Without Souls. In 1975, that year of the woman, the rates of references to the Middle Ages became staggering. The image of the Middle Ages, of the dark, obscure times from which we emerged, like truth from the well, was thrust upon all minds and furnished a fundamental theme for treatises, colloquia, symposia, and seminars of all kind. When I mentioned one in the public, the name of Eleanor of Aquitaine, I immediately received enthusiastic approval. "What an admirable woman," one of the people present exclaimed, "in a time when women thought only of having children." I pointed out to her that Eleanor seemed to have thought about it also, since she had 10 of them, and since, given her personality, that could not have happened through mere inadvertence. The enthusiasm cooled a bit. Let me just double check something. There we go. That's all good. Stream manager, don't go. There we go. The status of women in France in the Middle Ages is today, 1977, a nearly new subject. Few serious studies have been devoted to it. No more, one might say, than could be counted on the fingers of one hand. The Jean Bodin Society, whose works are so remarkable, published between 1959 and 1962, 2 large volumes, 346 and 770 pages respectively, on La Femme. All civilizations are examined successively. Women in the Society of Siam, or according to the various cuneiform laws, or in the Malikite Maghreb laws, are masterfully studied in it, but for our medieval West we find only 10 pages dealing with canon law, 10 others dealing with the period running from the 13th to the end of the 17th century, a study devoted to classical times up to the Civil Code, another for the French monarchy, and more detailed works on Italy, Belgium, and France in the Middle Ages. That is absolutely all. The feudal period has passed over in complete silence. It is equally useless to look there for a study on women in the Celtic societies, where nevertheless we are certain they held a role quite in contrast to the one in which they were restricted in societies of the classical Greco-Roman type. In what concerns the Celts, for the historians of our time, men and women were on a strictly equal footing, since neither one nor the other is ever mentioned. The Celts are, once and for all, refused any rights of existence. And yet, one image commands attention that I have had occasion to mention elsewhere. It is not surprising, in fact, to think that in feudal times the queen was crowned just like the king, generally in Reims, sometimes in other cathedrals of the royal domain, at Sens for Margaret of Provence, but always by the hands of the Bishop of Reims. But always by the hands of the... Oh, sorry, there was a question mark at the end of that. But always by the hands of the Archbishop of Reims. In other words, as importance was attributed to the crowning of the Queen, as much importance was attributed to the crowning of the Queen as to that of the King. Now, the last Queen who was crowned was Marie de Medicis. This was done belatedly, in 1610, on the very eve of the death of her spouse, Henry IV. The ceremony took place in Paris according to a custom that had arisen in the preceding centuries. Getting the reins at that time represented a military action because of the Anglo-French wars. And besides, from these medieval times, the term taken here in contrast to feudal times, the crowning of the Queen had assumed less importance than that of the King. In a period when war reigned in France as an endemic state, that of the famous 100 Years' War, military needs began to prevail over any other preoccupation, and the king was first of all a war chief. Still, it was only in the 17th century that the Queen literally disappeared from the scene in favour of the favourite. It is enough to recall the dynasty or the destiny of Marie Therese, or that of Marie Leschinska, to be convinced of that. And when the last queen wanted to resume a particle of power, she was given the occasion to repent of it, since she was named Marie Antoinette. It is only fair to add that the last favourite, Du Barry, joined the last queen on the scaffold. This rapid skimming through the status of queens gives an accurate idea of what happened for women in general. The place they held in society, the influence they exercised, followed an exactly parallel line. While women like Eleanor of Aquitaine and Blanche of Castile really dominated their century, while they unquestionably exercised power when the king was absent, sick, or dead, while they had their chancellery, their dower, their field of personal activity, which could be claimed as a fruitful example by the most feminist movements of our time, the women in classical times were relegated to the background. She exercised power in a hidden way and found herself excluded from any political or administrative function. She was even considered, especially in Latin countries, as being incapable of ruling, of succeeding to a fiefdom or domain. And finally, according to our code, the French one I assume, of exercising any right whatsoever over her personal property. It is always in the history of law that we must seek the facts and their meaning. In other words, the reason for this decline, which became in the 19th century the total disappearance of the role of the woman, especially in France. Her influence diminished in direct proportion to the rise of Roman law in juridical studies, then in institutions, and finally in customs. It was a progressive obliteration, whose principal stages, in France at least, one can follow very easily. Ooh. Okay, all good. Curiously enough, the first provision that excluded women from the succession to the throne was made by Philip the Fair. The fact is that this king was under the influence of the southern French jurists, who had literally invaded the court of France at the beginning of the 14th century, and who, as typically representatives of the urban bourgeoisie, particularly of the cities of the south, were much into trading, rediscovered Roman law with a veritable intellectual avidity. This law, which had been conceived for the military, functionaries, and merchants, conferred on the property owner the jus utendi et abutendi, the right of use and abuse, in complete contradiction to the customary law of that time, but eminently favourable to those who held personal wealth. To the latter, this legislation seemed, and rightfully so, infinitely superior to the existing customs for ensuring and protecting goods, trade, and commerce. Roman law, whose influence is seen reborn in Italy, particularly in Bologna, was the great temptation of the medieval period. It was studied with enthusiasm not only by the urban bourgeoisie, but also by all those who saw in it an instrument of centralization on authority. It showed in large part the effects of its imperialist and, let us say the word, colonialist origins. It was the fact par excellence of those who wanted to affirm a central state authority. So it was claimed, adopted, extended by the power seekers seeking centralization at that time, by the emperor first of all, and then by the papacy. In the middle of the 13th century, Emperor Frederick II, whose tendencies were those of a monarch, made it the common law of German countries. The university he founded in Naples, the only one of the subjects of the emperor would henceforth be authorized to attend, dispensed the study of Roman law, so well, in fact, that it was this Roman law that ruled the institutions and customs of the Germanic countries at a time when the West did not yet allow it. A note here. Paradoxically, the German countries were thus formed by Roman law, while in France, with all due respect to those who remained attached to the myth of the Latin race, the customs were formed by usages believed to be Germanic, but which could have been called, rather, Celtic. I'm guessing probably around this time there was the French would maybe have seen themselves as being directly a part of the Latins, I guess, of the Romans. It would only be in the course of the 17th century that the study of Roman law, precisely because it was imperial law, would be allowed at the University of Paris. The fact is that, much earlier, it was taught at Toulouse, and that, favoured by the infatuation felt in the 16th century for antiquity, it had begun to penetrate the customs and to modify profoundly the habits and mentalities of France itself. Now, Roman law is no more favourable to the woman than it is to the child. It is a monarchical law, which allows only one single end. It is the law of the pater familias, father, proprietor, and in his own home, high priest, the head of the family with sacred, in any case unlimited, power in what concerns his children. He has the right of life or death over them. It is the same for his wife, despite some limitations belatedly introduced during the Byzantine Empire. It was by relying on Roman law that jurists like Dumoulin, through their treatises and their teachings, contributed both to extending the power of the centralized state and also what interests us here, to restricting the freedom of women and their capacity for action, particularly in marriage. The influence of this law would be so strong that in the 16th century, the age of majority, which for the most part was 12 years for girls and 14 for boys, was returned to the very age fixed in Rome, that is, 25 years. In Rome, majority scarcely mattered, since the power of the father over his children remained effective all during his life. This was a clear regression from what had been customary, which permitted a child to acquire true autonomy when very young, without, for all that, withdrawing him from the solidarity of the family. Within this latter structure, the father had a managerial, not proprietary, authority. He did not have the power to disinherit his oldest son. This was a custom that also regulated the transmission of property in noble or common families, in a sense that showed very well, moreover, the power the woman maintained over what belonged to her as her own. In the case of a deceased couple without any direct heir, the property originating from the father went to the paternal family, but the originating from the mother returned to the maternal family, according to the well-known adage of common law, paterna paternus, materna maternus. In the 17th century, already, we note a profound evolution of this point of view. Children, considered as minors until 25 years old, remained under parental power, and the character of ownership as the monopoly of the father became only more pronounced. The Napoleonic Code put the final touch to this system, and gave an imperative sense to tendencies that had begun to assert themselves from the end of the medieval period. If I pause sometimes, I had a thing of Coke Zero earlier, so I might, just warning you guys in case I burp into your ears. I'll try not to, I promise. Let us recall that it was only in the 12th century that women were obliged to take the name of their spouse, and also that it was only the Council of Trent, thus in the second half of the 16th century, that the consent of parents became necessary for the marriage of children, just as the sanction of the church became indispensable. To the old adage of former times, drink, eat, sleep together, I think, is added, but the church must get involved in it. Ooh, I have an important note here. Just a little star next to it, so I wonder will this be important. Here I must remark on the number of unions duly arranged by families during feudal times. Girls and boys engaged from the cradle, promised to each other. Examples in fact abound. This is without fail used as an argument when demonstrating that women were not free until during the period, to which it is easy to retort that, from this point of view, boys and girls found themselves on rigorously equal footing, for the future groom was disposed of in absolutely the same way as the future bride. Yet it is incontestable that there occurred at the time when what still... excuse me, let me do that one again. Yet it is incontestable that there occurred at that time what still happens today in 2/3 of the world. The great majority of unions were arranged by families, and in noble, even royal families, these dispositions constituted in a way part of the duties of birth. For a marriage between two heirs of fiefdoms or kingdoms were considered the best way to seal a peace treaty, to assure reciprocal friendliness, and also to provide a fruitful legacy for the future. One power fought not against these imposed unions, and that was the Church. She increased the number of the causes of the nullity in canon law, never ceased to claim freedom for those who were pledged to each other, and often proved rather indulgent in tolerating, in fact, the rupture of imposed bonds, much more at that time, we should note, than later. It is moreover an established fact, taken from simple evidence, that everywhere progress in free choice of a spouse accompanied progress in the spread of Christianity. Even today it is in Christian lands that this freedom, so justly demanded, is recognized by law, while in Muslim lands or in the countries of the Far East, this freedom, which seems essential to us, does not exist or has only recently been granted. Let me just there's a note here. Let me just make sure it's okay to read. Because, of course, this is what's in this book, there might be people who might get angry at me. Well, I'm just the reader. Okay, the note is just a quote from someone by the name of Sheikh Hassanem Makulf, about kind of just confirming what she wrote up there. That leads us to discuss the expression, a church hostile to women. We will not pause here to take up the whole of a question that would necessitate a volume by itself. Neither will we go on to discuss the obvious nonsense that has been uttered in this regard. It is only in the 15th century that the Church admitted that women had a soul. Discuss the obvious nonsense that had been uttered in this regard. Quote, it was only in the 15th century that the Church admitted that women had a soul. Unquote. This statement was candidly affirmed one day on the radio by some writer of fiction who was no doubt motivated by good intentions, but whose information showed proof of several lacunae. So for centuries, soulless beings were baptized, confessed, and admitted to the Eucharist. How strange that the first martyrs honoured as saints were women and not men. Saint Agnes, Saint Cecilia, Saint Agatha, and so many others. How truly sad that Saint Blandine and Saint Genevieve were deprived of immortal souls. How surprising that one of the most ancient catacomb paintings in the burial ground of the Basilica represented precisely the Virgin with Child, well designated by the star and the prophet Isaiah. And finally, whom shall we believe? Those who, justly, reproached the medieval church for the cult of the Virgin Mary, or those who judged the Virgin to have been considered at that time to be a creature without a soul. Without letting such nonsense delay us, we will merely recall here that some women, who were not in any particular way signalled out by their family or their birth, since they came, as we would say today, from all social strata, as witnessed by the shepherdess of Nanterre, enjoyed in the church, and by their function in the church, an extraordinary power during the Middle Ages. Certain abbesses were feudal lords, whose power was respected equally with that of other lords. Some wore the cross like a bishop. They often administered vast territories with villages, parishes. One example among thousands of others. In the middle of the 12th century, the Cartularies permit us to follow the formation of the monastery of the Paraclete, whose superior was Eloise. One only needs skim through them to note that the life of an abbess of that period included a whole administrative aspect. Donations were accumulated that allowed here the collection of a thigh on a vineyard, there the right to rent on hay or corn, here to have a barn, and there a right to pasture in the forest. Her activity was also that of an owner, indeed, of a lord. That is to say that, by their religious functions, certain women exercised, even in secular life, a power that many men would envy today. On the other hand, one notes that the religions of that time, about whom we should say in passing serious research is completely lacking, were for the most part extremely well-educated women who could have rivaled the most learned monks of the time in their knowledge. Eloise herself knew and taught Greek and Hebrew to her nuns. It was from an abbey of women, that of Gandersheim, that a manuscript came in the 10th century containing 6 comedies in rhymed prose in imitation of Terence. They have been attributed to the famous abbess Proswitha, whose influence, moreover, on the literary development of the Germanic lands is well known. These comedies, probably enacted by a religious, are, from the point of view of dramatic history, considered to be proof of a scholarly tradition that contributed to the development of theatre in the Middle Ages. Let us add in passing that many of the monasteries of men and women dispensed local institution to children of the region. It is surprising also to note that the best-known encyclopedia of the 12th century came from a woman religious, the Abbess Herad of Landsberg. It was a famous Hortus Deliciarum, Garden of Delights, in which scholars draw the most reliable information about the state of technical knowledge of that time. Just as much could be said for the works of the famous Hildegard of Bingen. Finally, another woman, religious, Gertrude of Helfta, in the 13th century, tells us how happy she was to pass from the state of grammarian to that of theologian, which is to say that, after having gone through the stage of preparatory studies, she reached the higher stage, like that studied at the university, which proves that in the 13th century, convents of women were still what they had always been since the time of St. Jerome, who established the first of them, the community of Bethlehem, centres of prayer, but also of religious knowledge, exegesis, learning. Sacred scripture was studied there, considered as a basis of all knowledge, and also all the elements of religious and secular learning. The religious were educated girls. Moreover, entering a convent was a normal path for those who wanted to develop their knowledge beyond the useful level. What seemed extraordinary in Eloise in her youth was the fact that, not being a religious and not manifesting any desire to enter a convent, she nevertheless pursued very dry studies instead of contenting herself with the more frivolous, more carefree life of a girl wanting to remain in the world. The letter that Peter the Venerable sent to her explicitly says so. But there are more surprising things yet. If one wants to get an exact idea of the place held by women in the church in feudal times, one must wonder what would be said in our 20th century of convents of men placed under the authority of a woman. Would a project of this kind have the least chance of succeeding in our time? This was, however, achieved with great success, and without providing the least scandal, in the church by Robert by Robert d'Arbrissel at Fontherou in the early part of the 12th century. Having resolved to situate the extraordinary crowd of men and women who were following his footsteps, for he was one of the great converters at the time, Robert decided to found two convents, one for men and the other for women. And there's a note here. There were numerous other double orders during this period, notably in Anglo-Saxon regions and in Spain. Between them rose the church, which was the only place where the monks and nuns could meet. Now this double monastery was placed under the authority, not of an abbot, but of an abbess. The latter, through the will of the founder, was to be a widow, having had the experience of knowledge. Let us add to the complete picture the first abbess, Petronilla of Chemile, who presided over the fortunes of this order of Fontherou, was 22 years old. Such audacity would not have the least chance of being envisioned again in our own time. If one examines the facts, the conclusion is inescapable. 2 seconds. There we go. If one examines the fact, the conclusion is inescapable. During the whole feudal period, the place of women in the church was certainly different from that of men. And is this not precisely a proof of the wisdom of making allowances for what equal but different creatures women and men are? But it was an eminent place, which, moreover, symbolized perfectly the cult, which was likewise eminent, rendered to the Virgin among all the saints. And it is scarcely surprising that the period ends with a woman's face, that of Joan of Arc, who, let us say in passing, could never have obtained in later centuries the audience or aroused the confidence that she obtained in the end. It is surprising, too, to observe the growing intransigence that occurred with respect to women at the very end of the 13th century. It was through a very significant measure that Pope Boniface VIII, in 1298, decided on a total and strict cloister of nuns, Carthusians and Cistercians, that they have known ever since. In consequence, women religious were no longer allowed to mix with the world. Consequently, laywomen, such as the Beguines, who in the 13th century led a life like everyone else's but were consecrated by vows, would no longer be tolerated. In the 17th century in particular, the visitation sisters, meant by their foundress to mix in everyday life, were obliged to adapt themselves to the same cloister as the Carmelites, so that St. Vincent de Paul, in order to permit the daughters of charity to render service to the poor, to go care for the sick and to help families in need, was very careful not to treat them as religious and make them take the veil. If he had, their fate would have been that of the visitandines. It was by then inconceivable for a woman, having decided to consecrate her life to God, not to be cloistered, although in the new orders created for men, such as the Jesuits, the latter remained in the world. It suffices to say that the status of women in the church is exactly the same as their status in civil society, and that gradually, after the Middle Ages, everything that conferred on them any autonomy, any independence, any instruction, was taken away from them. Now, at the very time when the university, which admitted only men, was trying to concentrate knowledge and teaching, convents gradually ceased to be those centers of study that they had been previously. Let us add that they also ceased, and rather rapidly, being centers of prayer. Hello, Archie Forrest. Welcome in. I hope you're well. We're just doing a little bit of reading. It's probably not like soft reading for ASMR. It's more just sit back and enjoy type style. But I hope you're doing well, Archie. Thank you for joining, as always. Women thus found themselves excluded from ecclesial life, just as the intellectual life. The movement was precipitated when, at the beginning of the 16th century, the King of France had control over the nomination of abbesses and abbots. Oh, free investor. The best example remains the order of Fontherou, which became a sanctuary for old mistresses of the king. Oh. A sanctuary where, moreover, a less and less edifying life was led, for such strict cloister was not long in suffering violence, acknowledged or not. In some orders, like those of Carmel or the Poor Clares, kept their purity thanks to reforms. Most of the monasteries of women at the end of the ancient regime were accessible houses where the younger daughters of large families received a large number of visits, and where cards were played, as well as other forbidden games, very far into the night. We have yet to speak of women who were neither great ladies nor abbesses, nor even nuns. Peasants and town women, mothers of families and women practicing a trade. It goes without saying that, to be treated correctly, such questions would demand several volumes and would also require preliminary works that have not been written. It would be indispensable to explore not only collections of customs and town statutes, but also the enormous mass of notarial acts, in the South especially, cartularies, legal documents, or even the inquiries ordered by Saint Louis. And there's a note here. An unprecedented and moreover short-lived initiative, which consisted in the king having made a survey of his own administration by directly addressing those administered. The king sent out on-site investigators, uniquely charged to gather together the responses of common folk who had made complaints to the royal agents, and to reverse thus, on-site, the abuse committed. In other words, this was the efficacious way to remedy the failures of state control. Imagine that. Imagine you just get a knock on the door and it's the government, and they're just like, "Hey, what was that complaint you sent to us about?" And it's like, "Oh, I don't know, you guys tax me too much or something." And they're like, "Yep, bang, reversed." That'd be pretty cool. Or even the inquiries ordered by Saint Louis. We find there, taken from everyday life, thousands of small details, gleaned by chance and without any preconceived order, which shows us men and women through the small facts of existence. Here the complaint of a woman hairdresser, there of a woman salt merchant, trading in salt, of a woman miller, of the widow of a farmer, of a chatelaine, of a woman crusader, and so on. It is through documents of this kind that one can, piece by piece, reconstruct, as in a mosaic, the real story. There is no point in saying that this story is in appearance something very different from that provided by the Chanson de Geste, the chivalric novels, and the literary sources that have so often been taken as historical sources. The picture that comes into focus from the whole of these documents presents for us more than one surprising trait, since one sees, for example, women voting like men in urban assemblies or those of rural parishes. I am often amused in various conferences or reports to cite the case of Garladine de Frechot, who, at the time of an agreement proposed by the Abbey of Saint Savin to the inhabitants of Cauterets in the Pyrenees, was the only one to vote no, while all the rest of the population voted yes. That's pretty great. The vote of women was not expressly mentioned everywhere, but this may be because the necessity for doing so was not obvious. When texts allow us to differentiate the origin of the votes, we see that in regions as different as the Béarn parishes, certain villages of Champagne, and certain eastern cities like Pont-de-Mousson, and even in Touraine at the time of the Estate Generale of 1308, women were explicitly named among the voters, without anything being said to imply it was a usage particular to the locality. In city statutes there is a general indication that the votes were received in an assembly of the inhabitants without any further details. Sometimes mention is made of age by indicating, as at Aurillac, the right to vote was exercised at the age of 20 years, or at Embrun, beginning at 14 years. Let us add that, since generally the votes were cast by home, that is, by household, rather than by individual, it was the one who represented the home, thus the father, who was called to represent his family. If it was the father of the family who was naturally the head of it, it remained well understood that his authority was that of a manager and an administrator, not an owner. In notarial acts, it is very common to see a married woman act by herself, in opening, for example, a shop or a trade, and she did so without being obliged to produce her husband's authorization. Finally, the tax rolls, we would say the preceptor's registers, when they have been preserved for us, as in the case of Paris at the end of the 13th century, show a host of women plying trades, school mistresses, doctors, apothecary, plasterer, dryer, copyist, miniaturist. What? Miniaturist. I thought that said miniaturist. Considering the fact that these are trades, and trades usually involve a service or the creation of something, I don't want to know what a miniaturist does, or what they create, or the business processes that are involved in the creation of whatever it is their product is. Let me look up what this word is, though. Miniaturist. Miniaturist. Okay. Definition. A painter of miniatures or illuminator of manuscripts. Ah, okay. That's cool to know. That's cool to know. So I guess like I guess like probably like professional painters of like 40k models, you would call them miniaturists. Not miniaturists. Binder and so on. It was only at the end of the 16th century, through a parliamentary decree dated 1593, that women would be explicitly excluded from all state functions. The growing influence of Roman law was not long then in restricting women to what has been, in all times, her privileged domain, the care of the home and education of children, at least up to the moment when that, too, would be taken away by law. For let us note, with the Napoleonic Code, she would not even be mistress of her own property any more, and would play only a subordinate role in her own household. For, from the time of Montaigne up to Jean-Jacques Rousseau, it was men who composed educational treatises, even though the first treatise of education published in France that has come down to us was produced by a woman. Douda, Dhuoda. So I'm going to go Douda, who wrote it in Latin verse sometime around 1841 to 1843 for the use of her son. Wow, that's actually incredible. For those of you who if anyone is actually interested in looking at that deeper, because I think that's quite an interesting thing, and she notes this the thing. P. Ritchie, so P. Riche with a little left to right accent. Douda, Dhuoda, Manuel pour mon fils. Pourmont, so Pourmonfils. That's really cool. I forgot about that. Several years ago, some of the discussions that took place on the subject of parental authority in France were rather disconcerting for a historian of the Middle Ages. In fact, the idea that a law was necessary to give women the right to oversee the education of her children would have seemed paradoxical in feudal times. At that time, the marriage community, both father and mother, exercised jointly the task of educating and protecting children, as well as, eventually, administering their property. It is true that the family was conceived then in a much broader sense. Education posed infinitely fewer problems, because it was carried out within the heart of a vital fabric, of a familial community that was more extensive and more diversified than our own time, since it was not restricted to the initial mother-father-child cell, but also included grandparents, other relatives, and domestics, in the etymological sense of the word, which did not prevent the child from having, eventually, a distinct legal status. Thus, if he inherited his own property, bequeathed by an uncle, for example, this was administered by the family community, which, subsequently, would have to render him an account of it. There is no shortage of detailed examples furnished by the history of law and customs attesting to the erosion of the place held by women between the time of feudal customs and the triumph of a Roman legislation, with which and Roman was in air quotes there, with which our legal code is still permeated. At that time, moreover, when moralists wanted to see the woman of the hearth, it would have been more appropriate to reverse the proposition and insist that the hearth belonged to the woman. A reaction to this is coming only in our own time. We should add, moreover, that it is very disappointing. Everything is happening as if women, overcome with satisfaction at the idea of having penetrated the masculine world, have remained incapable of the additional imagination required to bring this world to her own mark. Her own mark, which is precisely what is lacking in our society. Of course, this was in 1977, so there was a bit more going on at that time. It is enough for her to imitate men, to be judged capable of practicing the same trades, of adopting the behaviour and even the customary clothing of her partner, without even asking herself what might be questionable and should be questioned about this, without asking herself if she might not be motivated by an unconscious, perhaps excessive, admiration of a masculine world she believes it is necessary and sufficient to copy with as much exactitude as possible, even at the loss of her own identity, by denying in advance what is original in her. Such observations lead us rather far from the feudal world. They can in any case lead us to wish that this feudal world might be a bit better known by those who believe in good faith that women have finally left the Middle Ages. In point of fact, women have much to do to recover the place that was theirs in the time of Queen Eleanor and Queen Blanche. That's the end of that chapter. Let me just see how long the next chapter is. That's about 15 pages, about how much we read. Yeah, it's like another... It's about another 20 plus pages, so it's a little long. I hope you all enjoyed that little bit of reading. I'm considering either continuing or maybe just kind of chatting for a little bit and turning this into more of an ASMR style stream. I'm not too sure what I'll do. But I will take a short, not break, but just a stretch, relax, and a sip of water. Where did I put my bottle of water? Oh, it's under my desk. A short stretch. Oh, I bumped the mic. I have been I've been away from where I usually go to the gym because I've been traveling, so I've had to use the gym in other places, and the place where I'm currently at, it's it's not a gym, it's like a room with some exercise equipment. But it's still, what surprised me was that what they had was a cable machine that only had like, most people know cable machines. They're decent, but there wasn't any barbells, there wasn't any dumbbells. That was the only weight there was there. There was a bench, so you could set up the bench to do maybe bench press on the cable machine. But what I didn't realize, and I only realized afterwards, was that the bench itself, or the cable machine on both sides, goes up to about 100 kg. And I was like, oh, wait a minute. This is actually, if you can get, because there's often people in there, so if you can get onto it and start working, you can actually get a really good workout with just the cable machine. And then of course you're doing like, so I've been using that for a while, and there's pull-up bars on the cable machine, thankfully. So I've been able to keep up with my fitness, and then I've been doing some running on the treadmill. It's handy that it's so close to where I am, where I'm staying when I'm away. It helps, not waste too much time traveling all over the place, and I don't have to pay, thankfully. What was I going to say? Oh yeah, and then the other thing is that because it doesn't have any like, it's kind of awkward trying to do leg exercises other than like I guess the one that kind of look more typical of like, you know, the one where you're like kneeling down and then you're kicking back your leg, which is a particular exercise you'll see many women doing in the gym, which might not be a bad thing to try. I might give it a try, even if it will look a little silly for a guy to do it. But you know, I did hip thrusts once in the gym. Well, not once. I've done them a lot, but I realized how good they actually are to do. You know, you often see women doing it, and then I tried it. And I was like, oh my god, these are incredible for your glutes. They really are. But because I didn't have any like barbell to do like heavy squats or anything, I just had to rely on using the bench to do like split squats and stuff. And then I was just using the few medicine balls they have, and I realized that like doing that, doing like explosive jumps, so like squatting down and exploding out of the hole and jumping as high as you can and dropping down again and doing that a good couple of times, and some other simple things and step ups on the bench. You know, you can get a really solid workout, a solid pump on your legs just by doing that. Although I was in the gym today doing some squats, so that was pretty good. I enjoyed that. It was nice to get back under the bar. And then trying to run after legs is always so tough. Yeah, they just feel so heavy and tired. So I didn't do much. I didn't do much running. I ran for maybe like 3 minutes and was like, no, my legs are like, I'm gonna be almost falling down the stairs. So, you know, trying to run on a treadmill wasn't exactly going too well. Other than that, you know, I've been doing my best to keep up with stuff. And I think one of the interesting things is because I'm walking to work a lot more, or I'm walking a lot more because I'm walking to work and stuff. When I don't get like, you know, public transport, because I like the odd long walk. Even that's quite nice, a nice bit of exercise and stuff. So yeah, I've been keeping up as best I can, nice and fit. Let me stretch to the side a little bit. I can feel myself a little stiff in certain areas. Ooh. I experienced some pretty wacky things over the week. Uh I was on some public transport and I had to get off because there was a bomb threat. They had to stop like all of the lines. Um so that was a little scary. Not scary, like I didn't even know at the time, but when I got home and I realized, I was like, oh, I could have done without knowing that one. Apparently there was some suspicious package. I don't know if it was legit or not, but there was something called in. And basically the guy on the train was just like, get off me, all passengers get off immediately. Unfortunately though, you know, oh my god, thank you, witch Abigail. Is that, let me, witch underscore Abigail. I think that's how it's pronounced. Welcome in, welcome in. Oh. Thank you so much for following. It's very nice. It's, I must admit, you know, when I was streaming a ton, I kind of missed like talking to people and hearing little sounds like that and little fun stuff. So it's nice to hear the little Mountain Blade tune again. I hope you guys did hear that. I didn't have my microphone on my alerts, but I think it's okay. But yeah, I had a bomb threat. And then there was also some other events that happened, but that's just what happens when you go to a capital city. It's like, ugh. There's like so many people and so many things, and there's always something going on. But we get through things. We get through it. I will say the next 2 days after the bomb threat thing, I did not go on the public transport for a bit. I just I just walked. I just walked to work and walked back. I think it's okay now though. I think it should be all right. Uh, Especially because I don't travel a whole lot. The fact that like a lot of stuff happened, um, and then there was some other things that happened as well that like delayed me and messed up travel plans. It was all a little bit messy. So I've had a little bit eventful week, I should say. I also had we were doing like in-person training for the stuff we're doing, but we also do online stuff sometimes. I have to say, in person is so much better. Even though I have to travel and I have to organize a whole bunch of stuff, meeting up with people and being in a room and chatting with people and having fun and having a bit of banter is always so much better than just sitting in your chair in your room watching a screen and listening to people talk, give presentations. Because even when I know that those people are really cool and really funny, and really kind in person, when it feels like it's on in when you're sitting at your home, it's almost like, ah, my bed is right there. I could just take a few steps over and go to sleep. But instead, I have to sit in front of a camera. Ugh. But it's okay. I'm going back up now. I have another few weeks of this, and then I should be down home. And even when I'm doing a load of study and trying to keep fit and stuff and working, I should at least be able to stream a little bit. So that's okay. That's doing good. Also, I think I need to. One thing I think I really need to do is go through my little like viewer list, and like ban some of those bot things. They're very annoying. I'll type in. You know what? I'm gonna take a screenshot right now, and then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go through it and cut those out and like search up and be like, is that a bot? Is that a bot? And then if they are, they get insta banned. I know a ton of people. There's probably like things people have done, like auto ban things, but they've tried to do anyway. Okay, that's good. I took a snip. That's all good. But yeah, I think what I might do now. So I'm gonna just make sure I mark the page. The next chapter is called The Accusing Finger. I wonder what that's gonna be about. You'll have to see when you tune in next time. But we're not gonna end yet. What I'd like to do now is do a little bit. My heart watching the Irish rugby game versus New Zealand was pumping out of my chest. So I've relaxed a little bit now, doing some reading and chatting with you guys. But now I think I want to do a little bit more, calm things down, soften my speech. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to lower the filter. So I'm going to change some settings, and it would be really cool if you guys let me know if the few settings that I change. So for example, I'm going to lower my noise suppression down a little bit, and just let me know if it's like a little too much, if you can hear like background noise too much. And actually what I should probably do is just monitor my voice a little. Okay, I think that sounds okay. Thanks, Clever. Thank you so much for the hydrate redeem. Needed that. I still want to. Oh god, okay. I have to turn off the monitor thing. It's If at any point like I'm talking too softly or too loudly for like an ASMR type experience, just let me know. But I had to turn off the monitor output thing because it's very so slightly behind my actual talking. So it completely ruins. I think I mentioned this before. It completely ruins your like ability to speak. Drink up. I did. I. Thank you, though. I think I did need that a little. Uh, I was practicing my singing a little bit earlier today. Just little stuff, trying to get down a particular riff in a song. You guys know? Do you guys know Luther Vandross? Never Too Much. He's a really really amazing singer. But in that song, he has at the very end, he kind of does the chorus a little bit differently, and he kind of does this really cool thing. Basically, how he does it is kind of going up higher, and I've had to transpose it down a little bit because I can't do that type of stuff. I can't go as high as him. He's a tenor while I'm a baritone, but it kind of goes like da da da. So it climbs up and then immediately drops down very quickly. Drops twice down, so it's like da 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 da. Then goes back up, but it's a lot quicker than that, and it's all held in one note with a bunch of like little woes because singers love doing that. I realize. Yeah, but it's tricky, and that was really my singing teacher really helped with that because she showed me slowing down the song, picking out the actual riff and breaking it down into pieces. So like one and even changing the sounds, the words that you use to make the riff, slowing it down and practicing it. So for example, what we did was we did all my love down up down up down and really weird, and just practicing that nice and slowly, speeding it up a little bit, getting the time, not the timing, but kind of just the number of beats in it, I suppose you would say, in the riff. And it's I'm slowly getting better at it, but I'm definitely finding it difficult to speed up to the speed that he does, because you don't realize how fast the song Never Too Much is until you actually try and sing it, and then you realize, oh my god, he's going so fast, so fast. But I really enjoy the practice stuff, and I'm glad that even when I'm away, I'm still able to do some bit of practice and catch up. Although I won't be unfortunately able to attend practice next week or this week because I have studies and it goes over my scheduled time. But I've been given homework, so that's okay. But yeah, when it comes to things like a singing stream, I definitely like to do it sometime. I don't know if I should hold off until I get my model or not, because I don't know how long that might take. But I definitely want to try one. And I think as well, I don't know, like, should I try and make it where like all the songs are kind of similar in style? So like if I do one Jim Crochet song, I should do a few more, or should I just do like whatever I feel like at the time? So like, I have a feeling I'll be a little bit nervous doing singing. So should I do like a song that's just a little bit silly and a little bit comfortable, or should I just try something? I don't know. Tough. I don't know. We'll do our best. I just want to check. Okay, I'm gonna try this. Okay. Sing your name. Okay. I don't even know what would my like sound be. Ruadh, That doesn't sound right. Rua ua quilta. Rua ua quilta. Rua ua quilta. That's the melody of an Irish song. As down the glen one eastern morn to a city fair rode I. Cool clever stone. What else? How else could you sing it? Rua ua quilta. Rua ua quilta. Like randomly come up with a little theme song. I don't know. Let me know if this is too loud. Actually, I think monitoring my sound doing this would be okay now because I'm not talking. That might be a little too loud. I need to pick up a condenser mic that allows me to do binaural audio, or at least stereo audio, because then I'll be able to move around and do like cool things. I'll be able to be like, what's her name? ASMR darling. You guys know her. You guys know her intro. It's so good. It's one of my favorites. Imagine that I go from ear to ear because I can't do it. But I love how she goes. Hey, it's me. ASMR. Darling. It's very cute. It's very, very cute. I wonder, should I turn down the fire noise a little? I don't know. explain that to like family. Oh yeah, here's a microphone with a human ear. Whatever. Welcome in, welcome in. Sir Lancelot. I hope you've been well. Stretch, thank you for redeeming Stretch. Okay, I'm gonna do a twisty stretch. I can feel that one. Yeah, I was a little tight there. Or maybe I stretched too much. I don't know. Okay. Oh, I've been here since like 5 minutes in. Just forgot. That's okay. That's okay. You don't have to say hi. You don't have to say hi. But you can lurk away. Still working away on my planning while listening to you. I hope your teaching has been going well. And I hope it's been getting a little easier to come up with plans. I imagine it never really does. You probably have stuff that you have to hit all the time, but you get through it, I'm sure. I hope the kids have been too tough. This week should be easier, to be fair. Fewer less plans due. That's good. That's good. I'm sure you're doing a great job. Plus, it's the first year's over. Hopefully everything can be reused. That's a good point. And you'll probably learn a little more, like how to do stuff. So you'll be really efficient. So even if you have to redo them, you can do it quickly. And you'll probably have like, while you look through your revision plans or your planning plans, your class plans, and see like, you know, oh, this wasn't that good, so I can update it. I can change it around, make it better. I'm sure that would work out well. The kids are great, to be fair. Brilliant class. That's really nice. I'm glad. I'm really glad to hear that. Oh, I'm monitoring my mic. This is kind of a nice tone of voice, isn't it? It's like slightly between whisper and soft talking. You know who does a really, really nice voice? Is Kuzuki. Kazuki is a wolf ASMR. Not gonna lie, I'm a fan of this over the pure whisper. I kind of just found this. I hope I can remember how to do it. I suppose as well, it's probably a little easier to talk to. I know a lot of people that are doing ASMR, they don't do like whispers all the time. Of course, as well. My microphone is not as sensitive, as I said before. So, you know, if it was, maybe the whisper might be a little better. And obviously, I haven't like searched how to do ASMR settings, so things might be not as good. Oh yeah, I wanted to try and do like tracing. That's not making much noise. No, oh no. Oh no. Hang on, I have an idea. I need to remember not to throw things on my desk. It's not good. It makes noise. Oh, you can hear me rummaging around my pencil case. It's like keys jingling. It's just noise. But just a fan of the little Tim voice. Ah, I see, I see. Mm. Kozuki, the guy I talked about earlier, he has a really nice one like that as well. Jay Samore as well. He just has a voice built for ASMR really. But yeah, the more I do ASMR, the more damn it, it's so loud in my ears. It's probably not as that loud for you guys, but the more I'll figure out the best way to approach things. What I might do very quick is just update my stream title. Excuse me. So, yeah. I'll just do this. Stream ASMR. Now. No. What do I say? ASMR. I'll just put ASMR time. Okay. I updated my little thing. My little stream title. Wait, am I in the right thing? Huh? Why do I not meet the minimum requirements? Hang on. Audience. Oh, that's a different thing. Okay, I thought it was like who I could actually talk to. I was going to be very sad. Like it wasn't streaming to everyone. It's okay. Oh, they're probably not here. But I did want to ask or say thank you to those who followed over the past couple of days. Sin, Forma VX, Cuckoo, Kairu, VT, and Salamander Zero. It's always really appreciated. Actually, that's a good point. I could do with a sip. There we go. Okay. What do I do? Ooh, maybe. Okay. I hope this makes noise. Ooh, that's loud, apparently. I wonder if it's just like a package or like a cover. I'm gonna blow it out. I'm gonna make it like airy. I don't know if that's a little too loud. Macedonian force, 1181 men. Greek force, 1551 men. Greek survivors, 32. Yo, nice, clever. Good job. I assume you are Macedonian in the game. 501 men. That's a pretty good ratio. Good job. you just poke them with a really long stick. No, I wanted to do tracing noises. I think, I think, I think I need a much more sensitive microphone for that. Yeah, unfortunately. But it's okay. We make do. Oh, when I'm back home properly, I'll pop into a shop maybe and see if I can pick up a good deal on a condenser mic. Oh, what am I looking for? I clicked on something and I have no idea why. I don't know. I did good. Good job. Good job, clever. While I think of what to say, I'm going to do mouth, like not mouth sounds, but like that type of noise. Because then I can take a little rest from talking. Of course, if anyone has anything they would like me to do, I can do my best to accommodate. I can hear myself breathing. Okay. I know some people like the sniff sound, but I don't necessarily know if I want to do that. It might put people off, you know. It's okay though. Oh, that was a loud crack. Okay. Toki, 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 toki. was that was just me, like tapping the top of the mic. I was kind of half trying to simulate heartbeat because I think I often really enjoy that sound. Oh, I hope it was nice. Ooh. Does that does that kind of give a bit of a brushing feel? Yeah, trying to tap on anything of my mic arm or like a wooden desk, unfortunately, sends sounds through the metal of the arm, so it has not a very clean sound. Oh, I, oh, okay. Tap. was good. It was kind of freezing up a little. What? It was. I think it was just something needed to load. Okay. Ooh, ooh, ooh. I like the sound. What are some other ASMR triggers? I guess that I can at least do. Ooh, I wonder. I have a nail file. Ooh, ooh. Hmm. Okay, I got some. I was filing the side of a wooden pencil, and it scratched off some of the paint, I guess, on the pencil. I didn't realize, and I scratched my mic, the cover, and now there's like a very slight blue on the black cover. Okay, let me. Okay, I think it's working a little to get rid of it. There we go. I can still see the teensy bit, but I think it's all okay. I really need, I'm gonna have to ask someone how you set up like those bots to periodically like post your socials or ask or ask for uh, a follow. Like to follow or some kind of like, it goes off every 20 minutes maybe. I think that would be good. That would be good. Yeah. I'm going to have to look over this pod, I think, and work out what kind of noises suited. You know? Also, I really love this background. I love the bird that flies across. I think it's just a really nice colors, and I, I I'm looking forward to getting my model because an ASMRist that I watch, Sasabio, he recommends this paid subscription thing that just allows you to add some like filters to your model that helps blend it into the background. And I think it looks really great when he does it. So I think especially with one like this where you have fire, it'll look really nice. Also, ah, I, there's one in the works, a little big fan art piece with a load of other tubas. Uh, some of whom I'm friends with, and some of whom I'd like to meet and chat with. But I also got some. I got some fan art. I got some fan art by someone. Well, it was, I no need to explain. It's art, but I'm not sure if they're a viewer, but it's still true art to me. So I'm doing my best to see if I can get their permission, trying to find, because it was sort of anonymous. So I'm trying to find out if either they will anonymously give me permission, or if I can find who drew it, and ask them, because I want to post it. It looks really cool, Hang on, I'm going to burp. I love that the model like bounces when I burp, or make noise when the mic is turned off. It's quite funny, Mm-hmm. You know what? I'm gonna take like maybe 5 minutes or something, and just go to the bathroom. Probably not that long, to be quite honest, but just, relax a little bit, okay? I'm going to copy pastu. Oh no, well, all of those should be capitalized. There you go. Okay. Now, so, oh, wait, I know. We'll have it fade in. Fade out. Okay. So, give me a moment. I'll go over it. If I could, put myself into the background, all the way over in the trees over there. Wait, hang on. Ew. Okay. Don't look at me. Don't look while I go to the bathroom. That's weird. Wait, where'd I go? Oh, why does it move so weird? the trees now. I'll be back in a little bit. Hello, I'm back. Oh, wait. There we go. Hello. Wait, I should be a little big. Perfect. Man, there you go. Little. Yeah, like the, the little boys' room, the little girls' room, the little warriors' room. And in that case, it's just like a random tree. It's like whatever tree I pick that day. Nature is one big bad. At least if you just need to go for oh. Okay. Oh. I still have to remember that might be a little loud. Okay. What do I do? Does that sound like a heartbeat? Let me see how jump every time I tap it. It looks like I'm just like making the noise by like jumping a little. Jump, 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 jump. And uh, if you are new, I have to remember when someone follows to do like a little spiel, you know, like I'm Ruadh, Fenian warrior of myth. Welcome. I don't know what else. I think that's all I can really say, isn't it? People don't do it for too much, you know. Saitama said it best. 20 words or less. But yeah, if you are new and you're just chilling out, a follow is always appreciated. That's why I want to get one of those bots, because I feels so awkward saying that I don't. I feel like you should, you know, but the bot would do it itself. I might. Yeah, I'll figure it out another time. Okay, I think we passed the 2 hour mark, so I'm quite happy to leave it here. Who is on? Who is on? Is there anyone doing? Anyone doing ASMR? Hmm. I need to follow more people. I think that would be good. Yeah. But let me. No. They're doing loud stuff. And as well, if I switch over to doing like ASMR, or not necessarily ASMR stuff, joining. It was very nice to talk to you again. I I hope to be able to do so soon. I'll try during the week. I would like to stream at least 3 times a week. So I messed up yesterday. I'll do my best not to leave it happen again. Thank you, Aslan. Lovely stream. Always makes me so much more productive when I'm listening to you. even if it's just random noise for a little bit. That's good. That's good. But yeah, thank you guys. Thank you everyone for joining. I will see you soon. Haru. Hello, Haru. Okay, maybe I won't end straight away, because Haru's. I'll say hi. Hello, Haru. I need to get emotes. I'm sorry. You should have more ways to react. Like, imagine if I had this. Imagine if I had one of these. What is that face? Oh no, I didn't mean. No, unpin. Yeah, I want no gay. I also want. I don't know. You want. I hope you've been well, Harry. It's nice to see you again. I might stream for a little bit more because it's hard to line things up. Even though I got up pretty early today. It's so annoying. It's like for the next few years of my life, I'm going to be studying. Spain. Okay. I've been Gucci. Nice. I just got home. That's good. That's good. Are you gonna chill out? Do you have stuff to do? Chores? Maybe watch a game? Chill out. Make some food. Ooh. I think after stream, I'm gonna go have some popcorn. Popcorn would be good. I shouldn't have said I was gonna end the stream so quick, because now I'm talking again. Gonna chill out for a bit. Yeah, that's good. I always do that. Even when I'm doing stuff, I will, what's the word? Even when I have like something to do. When I, even when I finish work, and I have study to do, I'll be like, just 15 minutes, 20 minutes, chill out. Drown. Oh my god. I'm sorry. That was so loud. Drown check. Oh god. You can hear me swallow. Yeah. Okay. Thirsty. Streaming is thirsty work. Don't you know? I always study 10 minutes before an exam. No, I am. This isn't like it is studying for exam, but these are like professional exams. So I have webinars with the tutors or the teachers, essentially lecturers, whatever. But they don't actually like tell you, like explain the background. You're expected to do all the prior study beforehand. So you go through all the slides, all the stuff, and then the webinars are more like we'll do a question and explain the stuff there. But like, you go through maybe 2 questions and that's it. Now obviously you can ask questions and stuff as well, but it's very much self-directed learning and it is tough. But I'm starting early. I'm making okay progress, but some of the other stuff might be a little tough to get through. It's a lot of content. I'm doing my best, though. I might just have to sacrifice some topics and cover them when I can. But I will do my best. Gumballs. Wait, what? Gumballs. Yar. Gumballs. Oh, actually, that reminds me. You know, you know how, like, Haru, you, and Sasa, and other people, they say, like, nar for no. There's a AI voice of Frank Sinatra singing. Oh my god, what is it? I think it's. Your brain's a little funny today, isn't it? There's like a Frank Sinatra AI voice where he says, he tries to say a word but the AI gets it wrong and he says nar, and every time I hear it, I think he tries to say like now or something or no, but it comes out as nar, and every time I think of you guys. I'm sad I can't attend Sasa's streams as much, but maybe the Fridays will be a bit better if I take a nap during Fridays, in the middle of them, after work or something, after study. I can catch them. I'll do my best. Same. I've been so busy. Oh God, I know. I always thought like ONG. I think anyway it means on God, but like I thought it was just like on. I've been so busy. It's like I didn't know what it means. I'm probably wrong about what it means, but it is. Sometimes I wonder how difficult it must be for like English second language people seeing like things like that and just being like, what are you talking about? I often feel like people who learn the language have a better actual grasp of the way the language is like structured and stuff, because they have to learn it. To learn it, they have to learn the structure to be able to speak it. While for us, it's just like, yeah, it's just we know what's right or wrong. I also thought it was not on God. Yeah, sometimes you do things to, hang on, I'm gonna turn off the monitor because it's messing with my like ability to talk a little. Okay. Sometimes you just do things to impress people. Well, not impress people, say that's the wrong word, but you fall into like the habit that other people are doing, but you don't realize. You don't realize what it actually is. So you kind of just do it regardless of the context or the background, and it's like, oh, and then you realize what it actually means. It's like your mind is blown. For real, bruh. Oh, yeah. That's... I generally dislike text speak. I do love, like, he's just like me. For real. I do like that, though. That's a good one. I love that one. What's I can't think of any other ones that are like particularly good. He's just like me, bros. Let me stretch. Okay. What? How much are like? Let me check. Let's do some research. Well, I'll do it. You guys can't see. Can add some more mics. Okay, the first one that comes up is the Newman Q100, which is 9,000 euro. Absolutely not. No. The Rode K2, which is, oh my god, they're so expensive. What the fuck? 7,209, 2,150, 3,000. Okay, the Logitech Blue Yeti, that's a bit better at 140 euro. But no wonder when you want like really good quality sound, like really sensitive and really particular mics, no wonder they're so expensive. Although the Newman Q100, I don't understand how it can be that expensive. It better come with gold fucking plating like on the mic itself to justify that price tag. But obviously the main one everyone uses is either the I often wonder if the oh god, why can I not remember it? ASMR. What was it? What's the one everyone has? The ears. Why am I drawing a blank? Not Blue Yeti. Trio, that's it. I forgot the name. I blanked. I often wonder, like, does it become so common that, like, you know, those people who are like audiophiles? I imagine there's a lot of that in the ASMR community. Because I know I have the certain audio or sounds that I really love and really enjoy or really hate. That the Trio, because of how common it is, it's like you can always tell it's the Trio, and they don't like it. It's like the microphone of the masses. I don't know. It's probably more the Blue Yeti, because I know that happens with the Blue Yeti. Hang on, my neck is a little stiff. There we go. Okay. Because I know I've heard before with the Blue Yeti that apparently has like a tinniness to it. I don't know what that means, but I wonder, is there any telltale sign of that in the Trio? Nah, they're too high quality, I imagine. It'd be really cool to have one though. I could do the side to side stuff. I feel like that's so important with ASMR because it makes the whole experience so much more real. Hi, yeah. Clever's been playing some Total War. He's Macedonia, or Macedon. So he's retracing Alexander the Great, I bet. He's conquering Illyrians and Thracians and the Greeks. And maybe he'll push on over into the Persians soon. I hope your game is going well, Clever. Haru, ooh. Wait a minute. Let me look at it. It's such a cute emote. Look at it. Oh, it's perfect in time for Halloween too. That's cute. I love it. Uh, is there any Halloween emotes in mind? Some people had stuff. No. Oh. Halloween. Ooh, ooh. I don't really have time to do like a planned ASMR stream. What I could maybe do, I guess I could just read some short, scary stories, or maybe read the original. Yeah, like a horror story, but it would probably be like goofy stories that are silly, or maybe creepy. I don't know. Just read some like really bad creepy pastas. But what was I thinking? Yeah, I could maybe do the original story of the pumpkin or the turnip as it was with the story in Ireland, because that's where Halloween originates. At least a lot of the stuff, a part of it. And there's a lot of stories. You know, the jack-o'-lantern name, it comes from, I don't know if you'd say mythology. I don't think so. It's more, what would it be called? I guess, oh, there we go. Sorry, my neck was stiff in a particular way, and I couldn't get it, and I just got it. That was so needed. It was like locked. I could feel it, and then I finally got the leverage, and it was like click. It wasn't a click. It was a crack. It's okay. Clicks aren't good. I guess yeah. Folklore. Folklore is the word I'm looking for, not necessarily mythology. But yeah, the story of Stingy Jack, I think, could be good to read on Halloween. Or at least around then. But I'm getting quite tired. I was up at 9, no, 8 today, and it's oh, it is 10 past 1 now. So I need to travel tomorrow. Ugh. So thank you again. I kind of kept going when I said I would end, but thank you everyone for joining. I'm gonna go have some popcorn. Thank you for streaming. No worries, Harry. I every time I see that fucking emote, it makes me want to get rid, like, buy emotes, but I can't. I need my model. I need a model before I emote. It's so frustrating. But okay. Thank you all for joining. I hope you enjoyed the reading. If you listen back to it, ooh, Haru, or reading today was continuing on the book, and it was talking all about women in the Middle Ages, and like how they held positions of power as abbesses or tradeswomen and other such things. It was actually a really interesting chapter. But thank you all for joining.